peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Good morning to you, and thank you so much for finding time to being with us this morning. Indeed, as much as it is a good morning, but it is also a sad morning in Kenya this morning, as we've lost three key notable figures in the country, and renowned businessman and philanthropist Chris Kirubi died yesterday after a long struggle with cancer, and also former gay member of parliament Jakoyo Midiwo, and also former women representative for Siaya County there. So that will form part of our conversation this morning as we also look at other news that are making headlines in the country. My name is Miriam Ogutu, and a very warm welcome to you. We're also joined by Dr. David Matanga from the Political Command Center. Doctor, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam. Thank you very much, all of you listeners, viewers, wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much. Yes, yesterday was a very sad day for me. Yesterday was one of the most, I don't know, I don't have words, but life is life. I lost two friends that I have known for some time. For Kirubi, I knew him way back in 1980, 81, 82, when he was a general manager of Kenatico in Intercon. When I came across him, when he was working there in Kenatico, he drove us around the town. He took us to places, Carnival. I remember very well my late President Obote liked him so much that every time he refers to us whenever we came to Nairobi, we say, go and greet that gentleman. One day he will be very great. That is what the president used to say. And I'm very happy that later on, when I met Kirubi again in 1986, Mr. Kirubi was not the same person. And then later on in 2004, when I returned to Kenya with Sky News, I met Kirubi again. This time Kirubi was the one telling me, you remember our coffee, you remember the little money tips that you people used to give, I'm here. And he called me to say, my television station, radio, must host you every day. As you know, I've been one of the columnists in the Capital FM station because I have a space there that has been given to me permanently. And then I remember Kirubi having paid my bill at the African Union for 1 week, when I was doing the ICC struggle. I've said it elsewhere in the television stations across Kenya. We've lost a great son of Africa, sense of humor, a great person, a man who can tell you that he struggled from being a mere driver and a disco joker to a level where he is. May his soul rest in peace. On the former MP of Game, a great guy, a great debater, a man who doesn't change his mind when he decides to do so. A man who stands by the truth. Jakoyo Midiwo Omidiwo Jakoyo, we've lost a person. We've lost a great person, a great son of Kenya, a man who has got all the ability to tell you off, a man who had served his constituency well. I knew him in 1982, 81. He was a frequent visitor in Kampala, where he had relatives, and those relatives are still alive. They were my great friends. I had a lot of respect for Midiwo, but God had more time and more decisions, better decisions to make than myself. So may his soul rest in peace. And at this moment, we pray for the family. Thank you very much, Miriam. That's my condolences, plus other people who have lost their lives as a result of the pandemic. Right. Today is also a very great day for us, that President Uhuru Kenyatta for the first time has come out to say he will back one of the NASA chiefs for presidency. So wajipange. Let them jipanga now. That's very good opening for us, the Star newspaper. And of course, Miriam will take over, and I'm here to also contribute. And thank you very much. Thank you, all of you.
All right. Thank you so much also joining us on the panel this morning. Douglas Kirimi from Meru County. Douglas, good morning to you, and you pass your condolences. Samuel,
very good morning to you, Miriam Mobutu, and also to Dr. David Matsanga from...
Go ahead. Let's all just be alert and present. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. And the other co-panelists, and also to the family, friends, and the countrymen who have lost great leaders in this country. Our corporate chief as foreign, Dr. Chris Kirubi, and also our game MP and the former women rep for Siaya. My condolences to the people of Kenya, especially those that have lost Chris Kirubi and also Game MP and fellow Kenyans, because there are so many other Kenyans who die every day, but we don't send their condolences because we didn't know them and they didn't get on TV. So my condolences to every person that has lost their loved one yesterday and the previous week, and may God rest their souls in peace, and their contribution shall not be forgotten. Like a candle burning defiantly over the weed, their memories shall always ring on to the people of Kenya and the world. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. That reminds me of that song that was composed when Princess Diana died, The Candle in the Wind there. Jevan Karanja, a very good morning to you, and thank you for joining us. Your condolences. Samuel Tawish.
Thank you so much, Miriam, and of course, colleague panelists, Dr. David Masanga, Jevan Karanja, Douglas Kirimi, and others. And thank you for the viewers who are tuned in watching the program this morning. Indeed, Miriam, I joined the rest of the panelists to actually register my utmost condolences to the family, friends of the late, of course, businessman, Dr. Chris Kirubi, as well as former politician and former Game MP, that is Jakoyo Midiwo. Indeed, this country has lost gallant soldiers at a time when, of course, we prepare even to go to the next general election come 2022. It's very, very unfortunate, but again, that is God's fate and destiny. There's nothing we can change other than just mourn together, of course, with the families, relatives of the fallen soldiers. So, Miriam, I think I join the rest of the families. I join the rest of Kenyans to mourn these great men who have served with impeccable character, having served this nation at different levels, especially for Kirubi. We all understand he's been, of course, astute businessman who has created empires and businesses that have actually created millions of job opportunities for the young people in this country. And Jacob Medio also, having been an MP for Game constituency, he has actually been serving this nation. So indeed, the country is mourning, and I join the rest of Kenyans to mourn and, of course, register my condolences.
Okay, thank you so much. Professor?
Yeah, Miriam, thank you for giving me the opportunity to say good morning to my fellow panelists, our viewers from wherever they are this morning, and also to pass my condolences to the families which have lost their beloved ones. Miriam, as you know, death is well, death is an enemy, but for those who are believers just like me, we will one day meet at the feet of Jesus. May God give them the peace that surpasses all the understanding as they mourn and as they grieve. Chris Kirubi was a very serious industrialist and investor in this country. Jacob Midigo has contributed towards defending the rights and representing the people of Game. And he was a very good debater, both in our national televisions and even in parliament. I pass my condolences to the family. Thank you so much, Miriam.
Okay, thank you so much. Jevan Karanja.
Yeah, thank you very much, Miriam. And good morning to our viewers wherever they are watching us from. And let me say that I also join other Kenyans in passing my condolences to the family of the business mogul Chris Kirubi and a former member of parliament, Game Jakayo Midiwo. This is a man I used to watch for a very in one of the televisions in a very famous morning show called AM Live, and he was a very good debater, well articulated. Therefore, we have lost a very great leader who has also mentored other young leaders that we have in the parliament. Therefore, it is a sad day, but Miriam, you know, that is the path that we are all taking as human beings. That is the end of when we are done with the duties of this world. That is where we go to rest. Therefore, it is order of life, Miriam. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And having done that, now let's get into other news making headlines this morning. And on the Daily Nation, there's a story there just on top of the headline. What do you have on us? Judges now ask Justice Odunga and Ngugi said they have no idea why President has delayed their promotion to the second highest court. And the story is on page 8 of the Daily Nation. And as already Doctor reminded us there, President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday chipped in on that debate and defended his position of why he did not appoint these 6 judges. And let me just read a bit of that and then we shall start our conversation from there. 2 of the 4 judges whose nominations to the Court of Appeal were rejected by President Uhuru Kenyatta have broken their silence over the unexplained allegations that they have integrity questions. Justice George Odunga and Joel Ngugi said they have no idea why the president has delayed their promotion to the second highest court in the country. They also say they are yet to be notified about the claims leveled against them by National Intelligence Service. That prompted President Kenyatta to reject their promotion to the Court of Appeal. The 2 judges said since 2019, when they applied and were interviewed for the 11 slots announced by the Judicial Service Commission, they have never been made aware about anyone or state agency having reservations on their appointments either during the interviews or after the commission recommended their appointment. They maintained that their names were forwarded to the head of state lawfully. Doctor, would you like to start that for us?
Let me tell you. Simple. If I were these judges, I would start looking for an office and practice law privately. Kenyatta is not going to change his mind. President Uhuru Kenyatta will not change his mind. Do you hear me, Miriam? I told you this week, last week, you know, you have been accused. If an allegation is made, what did you do? Step aside and clear your name and ask. The judges have option to go to court and sue the state for wrongful or libel if you want. Uhuru Kenyatta's lawyers will handle the libel case. But, Miriam, do you know something called declassification? classified and declassification. The evidence, for you to read the evidence that President Uhuru Kenyatta has got, you have to declassify it. And to declassify that evidence could go to the Supreme Court, because the state might not want to also injure the sources that gave them that evidence. Am I right? So look at the long process that these judges will go through. You want to clear your name, you must first seek an order to declassify the intelligence report, for it to be made public, for Masanga to be able to read it, for Miriam to be able to broadcast it. That information must be rendered to fit the public consumption. For example, if the government knows that you have links with Al-Qaeda, or you have links with Al-Shabaab, Miriam, they can't now come and tell you, then the people you deal with run away, because there could be further investigations. But one of the things that makes me very happy with the way President acts is that he said he gave Maraga the list. He gave Maraga the reasons long time ago, 2 years ago. Two, another thing that makes me happy is Maraga admitted, but because of anger and paranoia, the former Chief Justice did not act on the information. Three, these judges were the same, the people on JSC and those who were banking money in the judges' wives' accounts were also part and parcel of the JSC. So, Miriam, you can see it was very difficult and still very difficult for the state to divulge that information. So my only advice to these guys is go back to the same court, seek orders to declassify intelligence reports and see what they will give you and not give you, and then pursue your case. But going on mourning about who should tell us why he sacked us, useless, futile situation that will not bear any fruit. And therefore, Miriam, I am told that one of the judges even tried to rape a very senior judge. This is very serious. So, you know now, Miriam, such information. Imagine these judges have wives and families. And you are there, housewife in the house. Then this information is put in public by the head of state. And then you told the wife maybe on that day, you are not in Kakamega Golf Club. You were somewhere working in Mombasa, yet you are in Kakamega Golf Club. So such information can only be declassified and could be told in camera. And the current Chief Justice can quietly obtain those files. And the solution for this, let the JSC begin looking for new replacements. If we are looking for 40 judges, let's look for 6 more among the crop which they have to promote. Thank you. I rest my case.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, asked whether he intends to challenge the president's decision, Justice Odunga replied, I haven't given that thought to it yet. As to why the president rejected his appointment, he responded, I don't know. For his part, Justice Ngugi said he was in the dark as to why he was not promoted as recommended by the JSC. I have never been informed of any reservations or served with any complaints. by the person, organization, or state organ about my application or nomination by the GSC to the Court of Appeal. Justice Ngugi said as to why the president rejected his appointment, he responded, "For this question, you will have to ask the head of state who left my lawfully forwarded name." And the head of state, of course, yesterday responded to that. Douglas Kirimi.
Miriam, I have no kind words for these people who are tussling themselves between why the president did not appoint them, and the president responded and said that he forwarded the report on these judicial officers to the Chief Justice David Maraga. And the president has said time and again, and actually being a national figure, a symbol of national unity, a president cannot lie. By the virtue of his office, he cannot lie. If he has information, intelligence on you, he has information on you, and that is it. At the end of the day, the president has refused to appoint them. What can they do? Again, we cannot get these rogue judges who are rogue judges appointed into office at this point and time. Because Miriam, I've asked this question based on something that I can do even in future. If my brother's children are being destroyed by drugs and I'm a rogue judge who continues shielding drug dealers, rat grabbers, and every rogue person in this country, rogue politicians and every person, why would my brother's children die because I, Douglas Kirimi, I am a rogue judge, I continue taking bribes and all that? If these people, the integrity is questionable, Miriam, the point of departure with the law, which Judge Ngugi says that he was lawfully appointed. Yes, you are lawfully appointed, but Judge Ngugi, your integrity is questionable. And if it is my own integrity that is questionable, strike Douglas out of the list. And that is what we need to be able to embrace in this country. And in this country, Miriam, things go wrong because we keep presiding over anarchy and impunity when it is not permitted from ourselves. We keep talking about entrenching impunity as a culture and entrenching lack of integrity, questionable characters as part of our national discourse when it is no longer feasible to do so. When you look at what these people are telling us, they are telling us, if I am a known drug dealer, if I'm a very known drug dealer sympathizer judge, I should be appointed into public office and continue endangering the lives of Kenyans. If there is a judge in that list who continues shielding rat grabbers, he himself is a rat grabber in Karen, Miriam. It is in public domain.
But Douglas, if you were to go with that argument, they're still serving, they're still dispensing justice in the Kenyan courts. So,
Miriam, my point of departure is where you are, a president gives a report on you, David Maraga retires as you continue being in office. Miriam, if it is my mother, sack them. It is my brother, sack them. If it is Douglas Kirimi, sack them. Even myself, if I have raped children, if I have raped women, if I have taken myself into very bad behaviors, I should not be on this television.
Very well.
The integrity of Douglas Kirimi is questionable. He should be in prison and also be out of public and should not be commenting on public topical issues because he is entrenching that culture that you can do a bad thing and continue, Miriam, dispensing justice. And these people who are saying they should continue serving in those courts, they should be struck off the judges' roll and made sure that they cannot serve anywhere in this country, Miriam, because we cannot keep having this to and fro that the president should appoint rogue judges into the Court of Appeal. And Miriam, this should not apply on these judges alone. I have made it very clear. It can apply to Miriam, it can apply to your children and anyone. I'm very mad when these people tell us I'm lawfully appointed. Yes, you are lawfully appointed, but you are a rogue judge.
Right.
You are a rogue judge. Miriam, when you look at it, as I conclude on my point,
Please
these
do.
people are telling us it is true that these judges can continue permitting rogue judges and also other things in judiciary, but when the president does something that they feel is off, they declare court orders and send everything that they need to send to be able to embarrass the president.
Okay.
It is about time the chicken comes home to roost, Miriam. I submit.
All right, thank you so much. That is Douglas Kirimi. Jevan Karanja. We know President left out 6 names. It's very interesting that seems to have narrowed down to these 2. Only these 2 that is raising these 2, judges that have become a source of debate. What about the other 4? We've not heard so much about them. So what do you think is really going? Has politics found its way in this conversation?
Thank you very much, Miriam. And we have been having this conversation for a while now. And when you look at it very clearly, you'll see that the kind of information that David Maraga said that he didn't have, President Uhuru Kenyatta has clarified that he was privy to the information way before even this name came to public. Because what I heard David Maraga saying is that some judges were shortchanged. Therefore, and I don't get that logic, because if they were shortchanged, Miriam, that means he knows for a fact that there are some judges who have an injured character, who have an injured reputation, and who are of compromise and who cannot continue dispensing justice at our courts. That is what he's simply saying. Therefore, at some point, he agrees with the president that yes, we have unclean judges, but the problem that he has is that some judges are clean and that some judges were appointed and they didn't deserve to be appointed in the first place. Therefore, for me, this conversation is a healthy one. And Miriam, we need also to continue digging further, because now it is coming in the public domain that some of the judges have committed. They have allowed drug dealers scot-free. Therefore, when you look at this issue, we see these judges, Miriam, they don't deserve to be dispensing justice at our courts. But Miriam, they don't even, if they cannot be appointed in the Court of Appeal, Miriam, a tribunal should be set in place so that they can raise their allegations, so that they can defend themselves if they must do that. And if they are found to be guilty, Miriam, they should not be near any of our courts, Miriam, in the name of judges or in the name of offering services as judicial officers. They need to step aside and maybe go to prison or go home and relax, because Miriam, they are not fit. If they are not fit to be at the Court of Appeal, Miriam, they are not fit to be even at the lowest court of this country. Right. That is what I'm insisting today. Therefore, let's continue doing this. And the President Uhuru Kenyatta, is doing a very good thing in ensuring that he is telling us information that these guys have done 1 or 2, 3 things. Therefore, it's upon the intelligence, it's upon the Judicial Service Commission to give us to the public all the details that caused these judges to be denied that appointment, so that Kenyans maybe who are not, who are still in the dark, can understand why these judges missed these appointments.
Thank you so much. And the president yesterday insisted that he will not swear in the remaining 6 judges appointed by the Judicial Service Commission, as they have integrity issues. I don't want to be summoned to courts to answer questions about the decisions I made while I was president. There should be a balance in law and the spirit of the Constitution. That is what President Uhuru Kenyatta said yesterday. And while we were I read to you there on the Daily Nation, especially what Judge Ngugi said. He is unaware of what some of these issues are. So maybe because for whatever reason, maybe that cannot be made public. Could he maybe be told in private, this is why, so that he says he has no idea, Samuel Tawish?
Very well. Thank you once more, Miriam, for this opportunity. And I think, like my other panelists have mentioned, we've been having this discussion for quite some time regarding, of course, the activism within the judiciary. And I think this is something now that the Judicial Service Commission must take up. And it's incumbent upon the GSC to take up this matter and try maybe have a tribunal in place so that these judges, their conduct, their integrity can be investigated. Because again, we cannot continue talking about these judges not having been appointed even to the Court of Appeal, yet they continue, like you mentioned, Miriam. They still continue to dispense justice at various other courts, let alone of course, the Court of Appeal. So that in itself speaks of a very big compromise on part of Kenyans to get, of course, to be assured of a good service or impartiality when it comes to judges who are serving and whose integrity and character are actually in question. So I joined the rest of my panelists, the rest of the panelists, of course, Miriam, to call for a thorough investigation, of course, through a tribunal, so that these individuals these individuals, whatever kind of things that they're accused of doing, can be investigated, and whoever is found actually culpable, they can actually be taken to court. They can be taken to prison, so that Kenyans at long last can also feel that we have people of integrity, people of utmost high character who are serving them at those very critical institutions, Miriam. So because again, when we continue like this, I've heard and I've seen people continue lambasting the president for taking that decision of not appointing these judges without regard to what exactly made the president to make that decision. It is very, very important for us to understand that. In any case, President Uhuru Kenyatta might not have any personal issues with these individual judges. But again, when it comes to matters serving Kenyans, I think we should begin the discussion from there. We should get the right people into these places. Because again, tomorrow we'll be complaining about corruption having taken its foot in the judiciary, corruption having eaten into our courts. And it starts like this, Miriam. When you have people of questionable integrity, people of questionable character actually holding such critical position, then we will have ourselves to blame tomorrow. I think it's an opportunity for Kenyans to interrogate these judges through that tribunal that we are all calling upon, so that we get to understand exactly what is it that made President Uhuru Kenyatta to not appoint these particular judges. But like I said, Miriam, yesterday, and I think I want to reiterate today, that we need to laud President Uhuru Kenyatta for having considered to appoint these other judges. Remember, it has been almost, I think, 2 years ever since the names were forwarded to President Uhuru Kenyatta by the Judicial Service Commission, when we've been having this standoff that the judges will not be appointed. But again, now that we have 6 or so of them who have not been appointed, let's first of all concentrate on those ones who have been appointed, but again, have a tribunal investigate these other 6 so that we get to understand what is the issue about them moving forward. And it's not about the 6 judges only, Miriam, by the way. I think it's about the entire judiciary. Like we said, with Martha Koome coming in as the new Chief Justice, the first thing she has to do is to actually remove the jiggers that have infested the judiciary. And the jiggers are part of these 6 judges that we are talking about. So it is about a thorough audit, a thorough kind of investigation and understanding about all the judges and the magistrates that we have in our judiciary. Miriam, I submit.
All right. Thank you, Samuel Tawish. President has said yesterday, he reiterated his position. He has no intention of, he insisted that he will not swear in the remaining 6 judges. So should the JSC maybe go through another interview, find other judges, because as we know, there's still a shortage of, judges across the courts in the country. So maybe we just forget about the 6 and the JSC maybe carry out another interview and, more judges, different judges, so that they're able to be sworn in and fill in those positions. Or what should we do moving forward? What would you advise?
Yeah. Miriam, thank you for that good question. One of the things which we need to do, Miriam, is to congratulate and thank the president for deeming it fit to appoint the 34 judges who don't have integrity issues. That one, nobody has said that the president, you have done good, Miriam. We are only concentrating on the 6. Miriam, you know, as I do, the most informed person in this country, the person who the intelligence of this country they report to, is the president. Do you want to tell me, Miriam, the National Intelligence Service is a competent institution recognized by law to advise the president to gather the intelligence? We don't gather the intelligence. The judges don't gather the intelligence. The Judicial Service Commission doesn't gather the intelligence, Miriam. Do you want to say you want to doubt them? And even, Miriam, you are doubting them. Is there a business that we have to have them in office? So be it as it may, Miriam. Let us see logic here. Maraga has admitted that the names were given to him. When the president said, there are the 41 judges, he said, yes, I have got no issue with these 34 judges. I have got an issue with 6. He gave it to Maraga. Maraga was insisting, you either appoint them all or none. But at least, Martha Koome, with her negotiation skills, CMC has managed to get the 34 million. So, Miriam, the president has done his work. He has complied with the Constitution. He has returned to the Judicial Service Commission the 6 names. So it is the Judicial Service Commission, Miriam, to sit down and tell the president, we have looked at the 6 names, The issues you are raising do not hold any water. Do you go ahead and appoint these people? Miriam, what we are trying to see, everyone is trying to comment. That one is totally unacceptable. And here, this Miriam, the former Chief Justice David Maraga has made a serious allegation that some of the list of the names he was given, Miriam, is not the same. We want to see the names which were on the list before, so that we find that these people also who have been deemed to be corrupt again found themselves in serving the judiciary. Miriam, here the judge is saying, honest, that they have got no information. If the Judicial Service Commission got the names, 6 names have got issues. You want to tell me the leadership of the Judicial Service Commission will not see outside with the information, has not even had an opportunity to discuss with the judges? Miriam, you cannot even tell a kindergarten kid to believe you. Those judges have got the information. They have chosen to be quiet and they have chosen to play dirty, Miriam. Let us go full stretch and Miriam and see who will harm himself. But if you have Miriam, Dr. Masanga said that they go back to court so that they get their names clear, Miriam. Remember the judiciary. We are having a problem with them. Don't you know that? Anything which the president has come out, they will rule against. The only thing which can sustain this, Miriam, is to have a tribunal, so that those accusers and the accused will meet, evidence will be tendered, and Miriam, Kenyans will come to know. I submit.
All right, and even if they went to the court, a president still remains the appointing authority there, so really they'll still have to go back to President Kenyatta, who has said, I'm not doing that. All right, let's turn our attention to the headline on the Star newspaper, which got our Deputy President William Ruto this morning tweeting, Uhuru, I'll back one NASA chief for presidency. The story is on page 2 of the Star newspaper. President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday declared that he will pick his 2022 successor from among the NASA principals if they unite and agree on a single candidate. For the first time, Uhuru challenged the NASA principals to unite to enhance their chances of forming the next government after he retires next year. The declaration knocks off Deputy President William Ruto from Uhuru's succession matrix. It was in fact the unequivocal sign Uhuru will campaign against his second in command. The two are not seeing eye to eye, and the president has numerously given signals that he was politically done with Ruto. Doctor. Okay. Very well. Douglas, President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday saying that he will pick one of NASA chiefs there if they united. All right. What's your opinion?
Yes, Miriam. Thank you. For President to say that, it gives me pressure that the President himself has come out clearly to disentangle himself from the political mess that is the Constitution 2010, that your deputy can stick with you and political promises and all that. When Deputy President departed from helping the president and started campaigning, even using taxpayers to buy tea and the snacks for pastors at Karen to pray for him to become president in 2022, whereas he has a mandate that they got to the president in 2013 and it was renewed in 2017. That is the point of departure, Miriam. We don't hate William Ruto. The president doesn't hate him. If he hates him, he would not have reappointed him as his deputy in 2017. The Deputy President William Ruto has been a rogue deputy president, an example to future generations and our present generation on what not to look for when you are looking for a running mate, whether a governor, whether as a deputy president in future. Even those people who want to get into marriage like myself, this is a kind of a partner that we don't want to have, a person that will backstab you in the day and at night they'll be calling you sweetheart. This political sweetheart that was with President Uhuru Kenyatta is already done. This political marriage is done, and William Ruto should now get back to his drawing board, wherever he has been hoping that the president will come back and also come and agree to back him for president in 2022. It is no longer feasible, Miriam. And also remember, people who have been saying that the president should just retire and go home. Francis Atwoli said something that I agree with him. President Uhuru Kenyatta is a man that God has blessed with the material, and he is very young. How do you want him to manage his own? How do you want him to manage, not to manage his own succession, whereas he has so much to offer to this country, and even to determine what is going to happen for him and even after him? The president should manage his own succession because he doesn't want to leave this country to thieves. He has said that severally, and I agree with him that people who are stealing public resources, hiding in the name of God, should not be near President Uhuru Kenyatta asking for endorsement. And those people that are waiting for an endorsement from any other corner should not be able to do that. The president is at liberty to choose the path that he wants to go, politically, economically, and even socially. He can choose his friends, he can choose people that he can be able to engage in his government, and even people that he can be able to engage politically, media, because William Ruto has become a very rogue deputy. And I take this opportunity to remind William Ruto that in 2022, the integrity chapter is going to take effect, and all thieves are not going to hold public office. So Miriam, they can take this opportunity to redeem themselves, ask for public apology, and return every single coin they have stolen from the people of Kenya. For us to be able to move forward, Miriam, institutions must work, EACC must work, Archbishop Eliud Wabukara should be able to work and make the chapter 6 of our constitution feasible in our elections, Miriam, because we don't want to have this scenario in future where a man gets into government with another one and continue sabotaging them and making sure they don't perform their mandates to their full potential. Remember, Miriam, in the first term, the president said that he did not deliver much. He was always politicking, like his other friend who is always politicking 24 hours. Actually, that I call that Ajibe at the Deputy President William Ruto, a man that has never delivered any project, Miriam, in this country. Since between 2018 and 2021, we have seen the president deliver massively on development upon development in this country. And we have seen this, Miriam, with William Ruto. Every day prayers at Karen, every day prayers in churches. When does he get time to work? When does we taxpayers who pay his luxurious life, his life of opulence, when do we get value for our taxes? Miriam, as I conclude my point, when will we get value for our taxes that we pay the office of the deputy president, a contingent of a convoy of vehicles, and also workers who keep following him as he feeds pastors with tea and snacks in Karen? When do we get our own value for our money?
Very well. Very well, thank you so much. And let me just read the reaction of a tweet that the DP tweeted tagging that headline of the Star newspaper just over an hour ago. And he said, Gaifafa Mwadhani Jevan, I think I'm right. So what happens to the Rakos, the Kumera contingent, the 8 million of us? None. No youth, no woman, no man of the 8 million who woke up early and voted 3 times for Uhuru Kenyatta and William Samoei Ruto ticket merit support. Sawa tu, tutajipanga and support ya Mungu. But this is the same person who's been saying hakuna deni, but now he's from this tweet you can tell he's not very happy that President Uhuru Kenyatta might not want to back the Kumera contingent, as he calls them. Jevan Karanja. Jevan. Samuel Tawish.
Thank you once more, Miriam. I think it's a very interesting topic this morning, especially after President Uhuru Kenyatta's declaration yesterday at State House. And I think, to me, I'm not going to be so much concerned about what Deputy President William Ruto's response to what the president did, of course, in his remark yesterday. Mine is about exactly what the president spoke about. And I think the president has been very keen, has been very focused. And there was a time also he did mention that, he wants to leave this country in safe hands. And I think this is something that the president is now confirming to Kenyans, that moving forward, there are people he holds with regard, there are people he feels maybe they cannot be trusted to take this country forward. That's why he's coming out and saying, if NASA can stay united, if they can remain united moving to 2022, then they should be rest assured that they will get his support and the support of those people, of course, who support President Uhuru Kenyatta himself. So I think this is a very good conversation that the president has begun for the country moving forward, moving into 2022 general election. And one more thing that really is interesting, Miriam, and I think the president did mention yesterday, is that he does not want to stay even a day after his term expires. And there are people who have been of course, issuing different remarks, giving different signals that the president might as well stick to power even after his term comes to an end next year. He did make it very clear yesterday that he does not intend to stay in power even for a single day after his term expires in 2022. And I think that is also something that Kenyans should take very seriously. But he did mention this question of his succession, that his intention and his focus is ensuring that he leaves this country in safe hands. And according to the president's, according to the president's intelligence, his own wisdom, he thinks the safe hands will be amongst the NASA principles. So I think now is incumbent upon the NASA principles. Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi. There was another one, of course, who ditched the camp again and joined William Ruto. That is the former governor for Bomet County, Isaac Ruto, and others. They should now think of how they can unite together. It was very, of course, surprising that one of the NASA principals, that is Musalia Mudavadi, just a couple of days ago, came out to dismiss any intention to reunite again with maybe the NASA principals or Raila Odinga together. But again, this is the only surest way for them to beat William Ruto. And I think if they cannot, of course, utilize this opportunity that the president has called upon them to actually unite and have one formidable candidate come next year's general election, then we should, like I said yesterday, Miriam, as a country and as a people, brace for a William Ruto presidency. And I do not think that the Kenyans really are ready for that. The only way out is now upon the NASA principals to think how they're going to unite and present one candidate and speak in one voice and read from the same script, so that come next year it will just be a matter of confirming that we have one of those people coming from the NASA coalition becoming the president and succeeding President Uhuru Kenyatta. Because again, what is very important is a person who is going to continue with the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta, and not that person who is going to dismantle it. The person who is going to make sure that the people of Kenya continue to stay together in unity. The person who is going to ensure that there's going to be inclusivity when it comes even to the governance of this country. And I think, like President Uhuru Kenyatta has did mention, that person comes from the NASA coalition. And I have no doubt if they unite, they're going to make it come next year. Miriam, I submit.
Okay. Thank you so much. Prof. Professor, President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday declaring that he will pick his 2022 successor from one of the NASA chiefs. All right, Javan Karanja. Okay, all right. So I guess probably caught up in other things. I'm sure even Dr. Matsanga. So I think that is where we shall end our conversation this morning. There's something I wanted us to look at. I don't know if I can find that, but maybe we shall look at it a bit later. But I think that is where we end our conversation this afternoon as we await for the CS for Education, Professor Magoha, to unveil to us where our children will be going to the selection of the high school, the kids who sat for their KCPE a few months ago. So today, the Ministry of Education will be, unveiling to us or telling us, the selection and how that goes. So probably we shall bring that event live here. If not, then I'll see you later at 3 p.m. for more news from across the continent of Africa. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Samuel Tawish, Javan Karanja, Douglas Kirimi, Dr. David Matanga, and of course, Professor Jared Onyari. My name is Miriam Ogutu. It has been a pleasure. Good morning.
peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.